Welcome to Old Walls House. It's me. It's your man. It's your main man. It's Old Walls, and I'm back for episode 184. We'll be coming your way here. I may or may not have guests. I literally, at this point, recording it Sunday night, do not know if my guests are showing up at all to help me preview the British Open. So if someone comes throughout my recording here, then someone comes. If not, you got me solo. But first of all, I just want to say thank you to everybody. I appreciate your support, appreciate the watches, appreciate the listens. So thank you. A couple things. Don't forget to check out my guy MJ over at the Full Range Podcast. You can find him on Spotify at the Full Range Podcast or on the Old Walls House YouTube channel. Also, don't forget the merch shop. I'm actually modeling some merch here tonight. It's one of the shirts you can get on the Old Walls House merch shop. You can also find Full Range gear on there as well. So don't forget that. Fourth Wall is where that's at. If you search Fourth Wall Old Walls shop, you'll find it. I'll also put the link in the show notes below. So without any further ado, let's dive in. Ladies and gentlemen, Slano's back. We got British Open preview. Slano did come through for us. I just mentioned in the recording that the welcome recording that I did like 2 minutes ago as I recorded this, you'd have just heard it, that I didn't know who was showing or who wasn't showing, but Slano comes through for us. Whether or not we get anything else, who knows? But Jeffy, how are we doing tonight?
Who knows? We're good. We golf tournament this weekend, a fun part of the golf calendar for us coming up here the next couple of weeks. Not a great calendar for the professionals the next couple of weeks, but we've got one more. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, we got one more good one before we really go to the dead zone. After this, it's rough till September. So we had the Genesis Scottish Open today. Chris Gotterup, your winner, Jeff. I didn't watch a ton of this. I had a lot of stuff to do around the house and not high on my list of things to do. But Chris Gotterup, with his second win of the year, holds off Rory McIlroy. I know, I will say this, something to consider. I know we've mentioned guys who've won twice on tour, back-to-back weeks of guys winning twice on tour this year. When you kind of line them up against some of the other so-called heavy hitters that have not. So just something to think about. So any thoughts from the Scottish Open for you?
No, I wish the courses I played in had fescue that allowed you to kind of hit the ball still out of it when you hit it in there. I did not know this is Chris Gotterup's win. What, did he win like Puerto Rico or something else this year?
I misspoke. Not his second win of the year. I tripped myself up already. He won Myrtle Beach last year. His second win total. I got out ahead of it. I got over my skis there.
Got it. Well, among these guys that we talk about being like, oh man, like Brian Campbell, like won twice, right? Like this is a big boy tournament. Like that was a big boy
this is
field.
a big boy tournament.
Big boy field over there, and it appears that this place is hit it as far as you can and go find it and hit it again. If you look at the leaderboard, I also did not watch a ton. I happened to watch a little bit before getting out for our final round of the tournament today, and it looked like guys just stepped up on the tee and they hit it as far as they could and hoped it didn't roll into any bunkers. And I mean, if Chris Gotterup has one skill, it's he hits the golf ball hard. Rory hits the ball hard. Ludwig hits the ball hard. A lot of the Matt Fitzpatrick's chasing distance. He hits the ball hard.
Nicolai Højgaard.
Højgaard hits the ball really hard. Like it
Xander,
looks like it was
Hovland, Wyndham Clark, Taylor Pendrith. Like those are deep ball hitters.
Yeah, I don't know if Brian Campbell probably didn't have a very good week this week.
I would guess
based
not.
on what I see in the leaderboard. So good for Chris. I think he's in the Open now, which is cool. He can stay over there for another week, and probably not a whole lot of correlation, to be honest, between what was required here and what's going to be required next week to an extent.
Yeah, I'm guessing not. I can't really remember Portrush that much from back in 2019. I don't know why. Did Shane Lowry kind of run? I think he kind of ran away with that, right?
Yeah, he won by 6 shots. Was going up by 4 going into Sunday, it looks like. So I like you, have a really bad recollection of this. I vividly remember watching one part of it with our friend Matthew, who's not with us. at a restaurant right outside of Roycebrook, which is, I believe, where we played at some point that weekend. And I remembered it being an unbelievable leaderboard, but I believe it looks like we might have watched on Saturday. Just looking at the scores, seeing Shane Lowry with a 63 on Saturday and nobody else doing a ton. I tended to remember an event that included Lowry and Fleetwood and Finau and Brooks, and I think JB Holmes might have played with Brooks. If I remember, there was a slow play issue. Brooks couldn't stand how slow JB Holmes was.
Yes.
And I remembered Ricky being in the hunt at one point, and that makes sense because I see he shot 3 over in the final round, which is pretty much Ricky. But I remembered it being like really, really close. Then my brain said he just pulled away. It appears like he pulled away on Saturday and then nothing happened on Sunday, which is probably why we don't remember that.
It rained like a son of a bitch on Sunday.
Yes,
and
I remember that.
I'm reading the summary here. The leaders ended up teeing off at 1:47, which is very early for the British Open. They usually don't go till like 3 or 4 over there because it doesn't get dark till like 10 o'clock. So they really pushed up the tee times. And that may be a little bit of why I don't recall much of this, is that maybe a lot of it was over before, I mean, if they started at 1:47, you back that up, I think, 6 or 7 hours? That brings it back to, 7, 8, 7:30 they teed off. So if anybody had anything going on at all that Sunday morning, then you might have missed a large portion of the tournament. So, but yeah, you look back. I mean, if you look back at the top 10, I believe it's par 71. In the top 10, only 2 guys shot under par: Tyrrell Hatton and, funny enough, Rob McIntyre, Big Bob, who's kind of been playing well. So maybe somebody to keep your eye on with those two. I mean, both of them had nice showings at the U.S. Open, obviously. Little something to keep your eye on. There was a Danny Willett sighting that year. He just kind of, in looking back doing these preview pods, I've noticed that Danny Willett just kind of pops up a heck of a lot more than you actually remember him being there. He's like around more than you thought.
No doubt. So before we get too far away from this leaderboard, we were correct, or I was correct, and you were correct in agreeing and remembering that Brooks played with JB Holmes during this tournament. I had to go really far down this leaderboard to find JB Holmes to remember that the reason why there was an issue is JB Holmes started the day at 10 under par. And in third place, Brooks was 9 under par. In fourth place, it appears, and JB Holmes almost finished last among those who made the cut, firing a smooth 87 on Sunday.
Yeah, I don't think JB wanted to be there too bad on Sunday by the remembrance of that, and that would make for a rough day.
Yeah,
a really rough day.
I see 1, 2, 3, 4 double bogeys as well as a triple bogey.
Yeah.
On the scorecard for JB, and I would imagine that Brooks had some other things he was trying to get to while shooting 74 himself than watching JB stress over 5-footers.
It's funny. Usually when you see something like that in a final round, it gets off the rails early, and this did get off the rails early. Like, he doubles the first hole and then makes a couple more bogeys, but like at this point he's out of it. Like at 6 under through 6, he's 11 back. Lowry gets it up to as much as 18. So like he's got close to a 6-shot lead for a lot of the day. It like wavers anywhere from, he drops back to 3, but then gets it quickly back up to 4 and 5 and is really away from it. JB Holmes actually makes a birdie on 7, then goes bogey on 8-9. And then the wheels just come off on the back 9. Doubles 11, doubles 12.
Triples 11.
Bogey's 14. Bogey 16, then goes, triples 11, yes. And then double 17 and 18. Like, just not exactly the way you see it. Usually, if they're that far out, these guys are so good that if there's not really pressure, they can kind of, string a couple of things together and get back in there a little bit. But, hoy!
It's a lot of times.
Tough finish for JB. 87 times. 87. Started the day 10 under, finishes at 6
in the penultimate pairing.
Yeah, that's. I'm guessing somewhere around 11. You didn't see him until he holed out at the end of the day. Would just be my guess about his coverage for that day.
Probably.
So, I mean, we're pretty good on the Scottish Open, probably, right? Like some signs of life from Xander. Just a couple of things to point out. Some more signs of life from Xander. 66 today. A little bit of a rough round on Saturday. Sorry, my dog is just barking up a storm for something here.
The only thing I would add is just, I mean, Rory McIlroy had a Sunday lead, 54-hole lead going into Sunday, and he kind of hadn't showed us signs of life for a couple months, and he gets chased down by Chris Goddard. It's not really what you. I mean, I'm sure he's going to take what you would take from finishing second, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's still a good week and positives, and he probably had a great chat with Amanda after the round, and but he
did chat with Amanda earlier in the week, talking about his new haircut.
I did see that, but that's an event that Rory should win that event.
Probably right.
Rory shouldn't get chased down by Chris Goddard at the Scottish Open of all places.
Yeah, no birdies on the back nine for Rory, and from the little I caught, he had a couple of looks and just didn't quite finish it off. I mean, he hit it to 4 feet on 12. I saw that, and he left a little putt begging there. He had other looks there,
had
too.
190 in the 16. I don't know what he did from there.
Yeah, what did he do?
190, and he missed the green on the par 5.
Not by much. Looks like he hit it just green side.
Yeah, pitched it to 12 feet. Miss. Heck of an interesting leaderboard. Chris Goddard up, and then Rory McIlroy and Marco Penji.
Who I've never heard of.
Never heard of.
Marco Penji. Let's see if we can get a Marco Penji. He's played in 6 PGA Tour events in his career. He's played in 2 this year. He played the PGA. He actually T28 at the PGA.
Really?
And then the Scottish Open. That's all we got from Marco Penji on the PGA Tour page. Let me see if we can get him on a DP World Tour page. They got to have a website here for themselves. All right, last 5 performances. Tell you what, Marco Penji's been playing some good golf.
There you go.
Oh God, the numbers are all backwards. I'm like, the Scottish Open wasn't played in December. It says 12:07. Those guys did backwards over there.
That would be July.
Just last week at the BMW International, tied for 11th. About a week before that, at the Italian Open, tied for 21st. The Sodal Open, T25. And then
Shout out Marco, cash and checks.
Marco is cash and checks. Not a lot, not big checks, I will say. The Sodal Open, 674 this week, 674,000 euros.
There you go, Marco. Pour yourself a nice glass of the finest red tonight.
Because the last 3 weeks were a combined about 87,000 euros. So this probably is going to go a little ways for Marco on the DP World Tour here. But yeah, I think we're good on the Scottish Open. Would be my guess here. I don't have a whole lot more to say about it. But we got the British coming up, and I think it's as wide open of a major as we've had this year is what it feels like.
Yeah, and I think we usually say that before the Open Championship. Typically, that comes in the form of the golf course and the weather providing that for us. But it does feel like it's kind of wide open. The best players in the world are playing well. I just noticed that Scotty backdoored himself like a T9 this week. So the best players are playing well enough, but none of them are scorching hot. The next group, you mentioned Xander, starting to show some signs of life. And it's Scotland, right? Or is it Ireland or Scotland?
This would be Ireland.
Ireland. It's Ireland.
The British Isles.
It's you don't know what you're going to get. And wide open. I'd agree.
Yeah, just run down the odds board. I mean, nothing crazy. Scotty Scheffler plus 450, which is pretty good considering that he's not I don't think he's ever played like bad at the British, but it's not that he's played, phenomenally here in his career. I mean, T8 in 21, T7 in 20 last year in 2024, T21, T23. So I mean, again, not a bad resume by any stretch, but like if you look at his other stuff, I mean, there's T2s, 3s, 4s, wins. I mean, his U.S. Open record for not winning is T7, T2, third, T41, T7. Like that's pretty damn good. It's pretty funny that in four attempts playing this, his worst finish is a T23, and we're like, oh, this is his bad one. So,
right.
But then the rest. Rory plus 700, again, no surprise. John Rahm plus 1,200, not very surprising there. DeChambeau plus 18, Morikawa, Schauffele, and Fleetwood plus 25. Hatton, Ludwig, Victor, Shane Lowry, Robert McIntyre, all between plus 28 and plus 3,000. Joaquin Niemann, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, plus 4,500. Brooks Koepka, Cantlay, Fitzpatrick, plus 5,000. Straka, so on and so forth. We're not getting that deep in the board. Kind of funny seeing Spieth that high. I mean, I know it's just name value only. Just had a kid here this week. I can't imagine his game's real sharp at the moment, but probably just name value there. This feels like one, though, to circle again. One, your boy, Jeff. One, Tommy Fleetwood. This feels like another opportunity for him. Been playing some good golf. What do you think about your guy?
Well, the first thing I'll say is he's not my guy. I remain disappointed in his performance at the last major. Was not his week at Oakmont. It happens. It won't be the last time I'm wrong. We're going to try to be right this week. But yeah, I mean, he surely would fit the profile of an Open Championship winner. Comfortable in the wind, moves the ball beautifully, hits his irons really well, and playing pretty good golf, aside from that, although I don't believe he played overly well this week in Scotland. I think, as is the case most weeks, you can probably do what you want with a week like the Scottish beforehand. If you want to use it to say that someone's going to be great this week, you can do that. If you want to dismiss it and say, well, that golf course is completely different than where we're going to be this week, then you can do that as well. But yeah, he's up there. Probably will finish like fourth.
T34 for him this week, by the way. So nothing bad. Nothing to write home about, but nothing bad. I think personally, not winning for Rory this week, I think was a good thing. I think it gets maybe the fire going in him a little bit, and he said that the fire's been lacking. I think it'd be tough. I mean, this is the home field for him. I think he's talked in the past that he's played this place a bunch growing up as a kid and wanted to win this desperately in 2019, and I think had a pretty poor showing, if I remember correctly. So I think it works out well for him that he didn't quite get it done, but didn't lose it in a heartbreaking fashion or anything like that. So I think Rory's going to be right in the hunt here. Not that that's a hard prediction. I'm not going out on a limb saying that. If you look back at his last 5 to 10 majors, like he's been in the hunt and more than he hasn't. Any thoughts there? I mean, you think this is a good spot for Rory? I also struggle with the British to be like, oh yeah, this should work, because all the courses blend to me. Like if you take St. Andrews out and you're like, hey, name me like 4 holes, I'll be like, well, the postage stamp is at one of those, and there's a hell bunker somewhere, and there's the road hole at St. Andrews, but beyond that, it's just like, oh, I just kind of flip the TV on at 4 a.m. and the wind's blowing sideways and it's flat and there's pot bunkers and big ass screens with undulations.
Yeah. So it appears Rory, as he's done many times in tournaments that he's told us he really, really, really wants to win, went 79-65 to miss the cut by 1. I feel like we've seen that before. Yeah, I mean, it's a major championship at a place that's going to require you to be a little bit lucky, distance to be something that if you're hitting it in the fairway is going to help you, and to be probably a good long iron, mid iron wind player. And Rory does all those things. He checks all those boxes. Obviously, I think you could make the case that, yeah, winning this week just brings the hunger out in him a little bit. I think he was quoted with Amanda the other day as saying he feels like he's back close to what that Masters skill set of his was, or where his game was at that time. And yeah, I mean, I'd be shocked if he wasn't firmly in the mix over the weekend in some capacity.
The person I don't think that's going to play too well is Bryson. It doesn't feel like the British sets up for him. And maybe I'm wrong, and I'm pulling him up now to kind of look back, but I don't know. This just doesn't feel like it works for him.
Yeah, it's certainly not the one that you would circle on your calendar or schedule and say, yeah, every year Bryson, the Open's going to make sense. He definitely fits other golf courses much better. I don't know what it is, if it's the lack of trees, the lack of sight lines that for him make it a little bit, and he can start it and end it wherever he wants. And that's not always a great thing for somebody who hits the golf ball the way that he has. But as is any week on tour, when you hit it as far as he does, if you happen to hit it well that week, you're probably going to be in it. So I certainly wouldn't discredit him. He's not one of the guys that I would be circling as someone to consider this week. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he did T8 back in 2022. So has shown that he can do it in some sense or another. But yeah, the rest of his results there, I mean, oh God, it's flipping around here because of the change. Cut, T51, cut, no tournament, T33, T8, T60, cut. So of the big boys up there, it doesn't seem like he's the guy that's going to, find it out there and be one of the guys coming down the late stretch. A guy I am pretty heady on. One, Jon Rahm. I think...
You and me both.
I think if I had to make a pick, you're like, just pin your name to the wall. And my whoever I pinned to the wall at the U.S. Open, I even forget already, was a bad one. It was Scotty. I took Scotty. It wasn't bad. It turned out all right, but he was never really in it. But I'm gonna put Jon Rahm out there and say played well at the U.S. Open. I think was just lost by one to Taylor Gooch at a live event here just recently. So
this week today.
Oh, it was today. Okay, I couldn't remember if I saw that last week or what was going on there.
Just lost by one today to Taylor Gooch, which obviously real golf tournament if he's in it.
Of course, no asterisks involved. Where were they playing?
Spain, Valderrama.
Okay, so they're on the right continent. They don't have to go too far.
Supposedly not a golf course that also fits what they're going to see this week at the Open. But yeah, and it's what Rahm has supposedly done. I think the last time we talked before the U.S. Open, what do all these top tens mean on live, right? Like he does churn them out. And then you look back and see what he's done in other events like T7 U.S. Open, T8 PGA, T14 Masters. At some point, you would think that one of these is going to click. He was T7 at last year's U.S. Open, or last year's Open. He followed that up with a T5 at the Olympic golf event. It's not that he hasn't showed up in these events when he gets to play with everybody again, but it does feel like it's been a really, really long time since he's won one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. 2023 feels like a long time ago. And granted, it was the Masters, so it was early in that year. And he played well the rest of the year, T10 at the U.S. Open that year and T2 at the British. But the hangover from the live switch in the first half of 2024 was bad. T45 at the Masters when there's only about 40 guys really in the tournament when you actually look at it, between the old guys and kind of the special exemptions for amateurs and things like that. It's about half a field of whatever the total number is anyway. So T45 is a pretty bad number. I mean, can't be. There weren't too many people below him that made the cut. Then gets cut at the PGA and withdraws from the U.S. Open because he had that thing with his foot. So But from there out, like he's been kind of back to being the John Rahm we kind of had grown to expect from his 2023 year, and had played pretty well in 2021. Had a little bit of a rough year in 2022 in the majors, but I'm bullish on John this week. I don't think it's crazy to say I am, but I can't put my finger on it exactly. And again, I think that kind of boils back for me to be like, what's the calling card at this British? So,
Well, I think the first place that I would look, because again, I can't put my finger on it either, right? But when you do look at those guys in 2019, that were right there at Portrush, right?
T11 for Rahm, by the way, there.
T11 for Rahm. I saw he was T2 2 years ago at the Open. Shane Lowry, ball striker. Fleetwood, ball striker. Finau, ball striker. At that time, Koepka, ball striker. Lee Westwood, ball striker. Ricky, if he's going to be something in a major, it's iron player, right? Tyrrell Hatton, ball striker. Bobby Mack, ball striker. Willett, ball striker.
Yeah,
Molinari,
with the wins.
Norin, Rahm, JT, ball strikers, right? So it does fit, right? Like, obviously, it would also fit Scotty. And it would fit Rory, although I think Rory's a little bit more dependent on the driver being good that week than he is just, I'm going to precision long iron and iron this around. But John Rahm's up there. When you talk about some of the best ball strikers in the world, John Rahm's one of those guys. So I think there's no reason to believe that he would not be somebody that we're picking. I don't know if we need to spoil it or not. We both seem to have come in here with one name, and we've landed on it.
Well, I can say it doesn't seem like Mr. Wader's gonna make it to us tonight. So I quickly texted him because he had texted us earlier in the week that he has the winner for the British Open. He'd kind of penciled this in for himself to make the pick after you picked the winner at the PGA. Bucky picked the winner at the Masters. I was supposed to try and pick the winner at the U.S. Open, but JJ Spawn just missed. I was hovering over his name for a while, but never quite pulled the trigger. Wader has staked claim to one Rory McIlroy, who we've already kind of discussed here, which feels right too. I mean, I was pretty high on that myself. So, yeah. So those are our winners. I did want to ask you this: how would you rank the majors? I guess we should do it. There's probably two ways you can do it. The most prestigious ones to win, and then what you enjoy watching. Because I think those are, kind of a separate question there. So I'll let you go and give you, why don't you come at me with your favorites to watch, and then after that, hit me with what you think probably the most prestigious are and what a player would want to win.
Yeah, we had the argument about where the PGA falls into a lot of this a couple weeks ago, if I remember correctly, and the PGA was throwing really good leaderboards at us, and that being something that, hey, like this kind of, they always bring it somehow. I think the PGA would be probably least favorite for me personally to watch, although it brings it. I think the Masters, they've done a good job the last 4 or 5 years of getting us more coverage. I think the Masters would probably... It's the Masters or the U.S. Open that are my favorites. The U.S. Open is I'm going to put the Masters first, which is a wild turn of events from a number of years ago.
Sure was, because I was going to say, I thought you were going to put the Masters third, and then I was going to be like, this is easily one of your worst takes for a guy with a lot of bad takes.
It's gotten much, much, much better. And I'll tell you the reason why it's first. And the coverage used to stink. But you always said, by 1 o'clock on Sunday, it's on television. There's something about knowing the golf course that makes watching the Masters more enjoyable. You know the shots. You know the green complexes. If you watch it every year, you know where they can hit it. You know where they can't hit it. That makes it, to me, more inviting to watch because you have an idea of what's going on while they're playing the golf course. Strictly from a viewing perspective of how often it's on, the Open is fantastic. But unfortunately, completely opposite of the Masters. You have no idea what's actually happening when those guys hit the ball. And that kind of makes it, as much as it's cool to be able to wake up at when the first guy tees off on Thursday and he's on TV at 2:30 in the morning, you could watch whoever that is. And it'll be on whatever channel has the TNT or whoever has the Open. So I'm going to say 1 Masters, 2 US Open, 3 Open, and 4 PGA in terms of watchability.
And here's my scalding hot take. 1 Masters, 2 US Open. I go 3 PGA because A, the time slot is just better. And I struggle so much watching the British Open to be like, what does that mean? Like, what did that shot mean? It's like it's bouncing, and they're like, oh, good tee ball. And then all of a sudden, like, a fucking pot bunker appears. They're like, oh, didn't know he got it that far. It's like, okay, like, how am I supposed to sit there and, like, you shot tracer it, and it's like, okay, I see the shot tracer going out into the sky, and half the time the sky you can't even see because it's gray and it's raining sideways. And so that's my hot take, is that the British Open is my least favorite to watch. Now, I do love that I can get up when I get up, and I'm kind of a guy who gets up early, so I will wake up a number of times on any given day at like 4:30, look over, see the clock, kind of roll back over, and kind of lay there like and not really fall back asleep. So like when it's British Open, I'm just like, all right, let's go sit on the couch and turn the TV on. So that is fantastic. One of the only problems with that is that for some reason the like European feed, the Sky Sports feed, is far and away better than when it switches over to like the NBC feed. Like you go and they're just like flipping through shot after shot after shot. And then it gets to the NBC American feed and it's like, let us give you 6 different vignettes about the greenskeeper's cottage that's been here since 1601. It's like, I really don't give a shit about the greenskeeper's cottage. But we get to see that true. 4 times a day.
It's so true.
So that's Rose.
But obviously, it's on. And I don't need to go to Peacock, and I don't need to go to all this other stuff, and you're going to get the best. You're going to see every single guy go the whole time. And if that's changed, then I change it, and then they're 4th now.
Let's see what the Open's TV schedule is here. Jeff, I got some sad news for you. From 1:30 to 4 a.m., it will in fact be on Peacock.
Update. The PGA is 3rd. The Open is 4th. It used to be like TNT or USA or something, and they had it. And, I'm just not going to... Yeah, no, it broke my heart. From I think I made an argument one time it was the best to watch.
You did make that argument once.
It is now the last.
Is this saying it's on Peacock the entire Thursday, Friday? No, okay. It's on Peacock from 1:30 to 4 a.m., both Thursday and Friday. Then it goes right to NBC at 4 a.m. So, I mean, that's still pretty good. Like, you just put it on NBC.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty
good.
Let me clarify. Is it on NBC the entire rest of the day?
4 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. is what it says.
All right, I take it back. Open back to 3rd, PGA back to 4th.
It is funny. I always make this mistake, and you think it ends earlier than it does in the day, and then all of a sudden it's like 3:30, and you're like, "Oh, it's just ending right now."
Yep.
Because they just whip everybody off the first tee, and it goes for hours. It's just like there are tee times for like 5.5 hours straight.
And what you just said is exactly why it is a phenomenal viewing experience.
Yeah, you don't have to deal with this back 9, front 9, and you're like, okay, this guy's on 11. Oh, wait, is he on? Oh, nope, he just started. He's on 11. That's a second hole. Like, you don't have to deal with that. That's another great thing about the Masters, too.
Yeah, if they would show you the people at the Masters. That's like the thing. Like, I don't want to have to bounce between the feed of the par 3s on the front and then the feed of Amen Corner and the feed of 14, 15, and then the featured groups. And like the Masters is the best because you know it. If you didn't know it, it'd be the worst and it would not even be close.
I will say this, and I've come around to this. I forget who I saw say this, and I've caught myself doing this as well too, is that on the Masters, I used to do the bounce around thing. I'd be like, oh, I'll watch this for a while, watch this. I started just watching a featured group. And I'm like, I'm just going to watch the featured group. And it really gives you a feel for the course beyond what you've already had, that you're just watching 2 or 3 guys. You watch them play every hole in order. You kind of see the flow of how the rounds progress and everything like that. You see a lot of the different, like a lot of different spots on the hole where you may not see them before. On like a, if you're just watching like the afternoon when it gets on ESPN that afternoon, where they're just kind of like bouncing around, and you're like, oh. And I think that's another thing that we're forced into doing that actually kind of ends up working as a good thing for them come Sunday, is that like you've seen the whole golf course again. It's like if you did forget what, 2 or 3 or 4 or, so some of the other like holes out there that you don't see a lot of, 14 sometimes until, Saturday or Sunday afternoon, you kind of get like reintroduced to them. And maybe I'm going to do that with the Open Championship this year to get a handle on Portrush. It's just be like, I'm going to lock in on Thursday to a featured group. I'm going to follow them around the golf course and get the idea. Because I do this too when I go to like golf tournaments. If I'm going to be there for 2 days, my first day strategy is always I'm going to walk every hole. I'm just going to like go to one. I'm going to walk the golf course like in order, so I get a feel of what we're doing. And then the next day, if I want to, be like, oh, I love this spot, I'm going to go there and sit here for a while. Or when I'm walking around, I know I can catch this guy through like 1, 2, 3, and then bounce over to 7. We'll catch somebody else, and then they'll be through, and we'll have a good spot. So maybe that's what I'm doing this year. I'm just going to lock in for a featured group on Thursday.
I think you just talked yourself into it.
I might have.
I think you just talked yourself into that.
Maybe the way to go going forward for all majors for me. I think I'm pretty well out of topics here, Jeff. I don't know about you, but I've hit most everything I wanted to chat about here with you. So, I'll leave you the last word here if you got anything for us.
I think we're both on the same page with John Rahm. I think if I were to rattle off other names, I think, to be honest, Oakmont ended up kind of playing like a Bombers course. I think I gave a number of ball strikers there as guys to keep an eye on. The Sepp Strakas, the Russell Henleys type of players. To me, if I was looking for somewhere outside of the big 3, who we all acknowledge, all 3 of them are playing really good golf right now. And I would say the big 3 includes Rahm as that third. I think he's safely in the odds board third. I think we'd all say he's safely third, unless you were to put Bryson up there, but we talked about his inconsistencies potentially at a place like this. I think the next group that I would look for are those ball strikers. Is Xander back? Sepp Straka had another good week this week in Scotland and just seems to keep flushing the golf ball. Tommy Fleetwood's a flusher. Russell Henley's taken the next step this year. Can he do it in something like the Open? He kind of feels like an Open type of grinder if he's hitting his irons well. I think that's the next group of guy that I would look to. I don't think I would look to see a Chris Gotterup type of player just bomb it and hope it goes straight.
I think another benefit for Fleetwood, green speeds are a little slower, so he can make a little bit more aggressive putting attempts. Yep. I think that helps him with his little issue with the putter.
Yeah, but that would be that's the only other thing I'd add. Like if you're looking for, I don't want to pick one of the top guys. Who would it be? I think it's that wheel of ball strikers. Hatton, another great name, right? Like that's the next group. I wouldn't go to the Dustin Johnsons or the Wyndham Clarks.
Is Dustin Johnson in the field?
I have no idea. Just first guy I thought of when I think hit it far. And not one of the top guys in the world right now. So it's very possible that his exemption would have now he's got to still be in it, right? Didn't he win like the COVID Masters?
Yeah, 2020. So he'd have 21, 22, 23, 24. Yeah, he'd be in for this year. So his exemptions are up. Well, he'd have US Open next year because he had a 10-year to that from winning that. So he's got Masters and US Open next year, and then nothing.
Lucky for Paulina. A lot of time on DJ's hands coming up starting in 2026. Might see a third kid on the way. You have no idea. Just
You never
if you
know.
do, you know why.
Well, Jeff, appreciate your time tonight, my man. Maybe we'll be back again. Hopefully, we can get the whole crew together for the recap of this. It seems like when I have to push us to Sundays, the other two Yahoos doesn't fit quite as well time schedule. But I think we can do a Monday recording next week. So maybe we'll get everybody together.
Yes, Sunday night should be great. I don't want to lock it in right now without all of our friends here to do the same. But I likely will be watching on Sunday. So let's hope we get a great tournament.
Perfect. All right, Jeff. Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Awesome. Yep. See ya.
All hope is not lost just yet for the Cleveland Guardians. Winners of 6 of the last 7, including a 3-game sweep over the Houston Astros. We're not dead. We're not dead. I mean, it's not good. It's not good. Don't get me wrong. It's not good. Not dead. 4.5 back in the wild card. The problem is there's a lot of teams in between them. The Rays, Rangers, Angels, Twins, and Royals all in between them. The Rays are just 1.5 get back, but after being real hot, they've really stumbled lately. They've lost 4 in a row, 2-8 in their last 10. So it's still going to be a pretty Herculean effort. They're still 12 back of the Tigers. The Tigers have just lost 4 in a row here heading into the All-Star break. So it's going to take a lot in the second half. It's going to require management to not want to start dumping assets here to get stuff back. But again, I said this. You come right out of the All-Star break, and it's right into a matchup with the Oakland Athletics, who are terrible. They're 40-57. Cleveland's just 3 games under 500 now, 46-49. Like I said, 6 of the last 7, including a sweep over the Houston Astros, who are a good baseball team. Scoring some runs in that series too, 7, 10, and 4. Some nice performances in that series as well. Jose Ramirez, this was probably on Tuesday or Wednesday. It was during the Astros series. Blacked out of the White Sox series, so I couldn't watch any of that. So I've got no notes or anything from that. One in extra innings today. Stephen Kwan drove in a run and then had an incredible sliding catch. I did see the clip of that. Very nice, very nice. But Jose in the Astros series recorded 2 extra base hits in that game. That's the 113th time he's done that since 2016. That is the most in the bigs. So Jose just continuing to be an incredibly gifted, talented, awesome player. The Tuesday game, after being up 6-1 and blowing that lead and going into extra innings, Angel Martinez, grand slam, send them all around. 10-6 win over there. And in the game that felt like, here we go, it's just Cleveland doing Cleveland things again. They're going to, they win a game against a good team and they got a chance to take it the first 2 of the series, and they're just going to blow it like they always do. They didn't. They pulled one out. Somebody found a bat, found their balls, and pulled one out. And then Slade Ciccone, 7 scoreless innings, went into the 8th inning, gave up a run, but then they were able to hold on. Did give up a second run there in the 8th when Jacob Jakunis came in, but Paul Sewald actually came in to close that game out for him and get the win. And then 3 or 4 from the White Sox. They dumped one on Friday in a doubleheader in extra innings. I mean, what can you do? You can't win every game, even against the bad teams. They did their job for the most part. 3 of 4. Be nice if they could get a sweep, coming right out of the All-Star break against the Athletics. Again, a pitiful team. And then they got the Baltimore Orioles again, like the worst team in the AL East. Granted, the AL East is pretty strong, and they've got to play a lot of those teams a lot more. I don't know what they've done in their schedule, but so you got Athletics, Orioles, the Royals, who are a very similar team, so that's very winnable. And then the Rockies. Then the Rockies come to town. And that team is horrendous. They've only won 22 games all year. All year. And you get a 3-game slate with that on the heels of the A's and the Orioles and the Royals. So I mean, that's what, 3. That's another 3-game series, so 6, 9, Rockies and Royals. I mean, you got 12 games for the rest of the month when you come back from the All-Star break. You got to be thinking 9 to 10 wins. You get 9, you're kind of back in this. You go 9-3 over that stretch. Then all of a sudden, you're 55-52 would be their record if they go 9-3 in that stretch. You got absolute minimum. You got to get back over 500. So you got to go 8. You got to go 8-4. That gets you to 54-53. I mean, this is as good a stretch to do it as you're gonna get, because it does get a little more difficult after that. They got the Mets and the Twins, after the Rockies. Twins have, again, the Twins aren't great, but the Mets are pretty solid. But then you get the White Sox again. Until October 10th, and then it's the Marlins. What are we looking at with the Marlins? Not a good team. I mean, it's really till the middle of August when they play the Braves, who knows really even there. But the Braves got some talent. And then they play the D-backs, which, again, nothing great there. The schedule for the next month and a half is really nice. I mean, the Rangers, that's not a team blowing anybody's doors off either. I mean, just barely under 500. I mean, the Rays, end of August, is the first time you're that's a team that's, maybe just playing good ball right now. Granted, a lot can change in that stretch. But it's a stretch that's coming up for them. And it's look, this is where you make your hay. You got to go get it. Jose's not playing the All-Star game. Last I saw was, just going to kind of take some time to just clear up some kind of nagging injuries. So Jose's out for the All-Star game. So, all right, there's hope. There's hope in Cleveland. Time for some passing thoughts. All right. What do I got on passing thoughts this week? Don't know. It's a mystery. It's always a mystery to me. I say this probably about once a year. I was mowing the yard the other day, and nice hot day, and just came in, and you know what? It felt like it was time for a beer. And my gosh, was that beer fantastic. Just absolutely fantastic. And, sometimes when you just get done mowing the lawn, you're you need a beer. You need a beer. And it's just delicious. It's just really all there is to it. Tell you what else was delicious. My breakfast I made today. Let me get this out. We had some chocolate chip pancakes, some eggs, some sausage. That was fantastic. We got a griddle that was my grandmother's, and then after she passed, I'd been hanging around my mom's house for a while. And when I moved, she's like, "Here, why don't you take this with you?" My gosh, what a great thing! That griddle is fantastic. I mean, it cooked all that stuff in about 5 to 10 minutes max. You plug it into the wall, you wipe it off with a paper towel afterwards. Done. I mean, I love my Blackstone. I really like things that I do on that. But the people are "Oh, I cook breakfast on my Blackstone." I'm like, you're a clown. Just get yourself a little electric griddle. You don't need the Blackstone for that. Just get yourself one of them little electric griddles. You're in, you're out, boom, done, over. Fantastico. I cannot begin to tell you guys how happy I am. We got hit with a hailstorm back at the end of April. We had damage to our roof, damage to our siding, a couple windows were damaged. It was rough, and it was a pain in the ass. And aside from some staining to be done on the inside window frame and a garage door replacement, which isn't even that big a deal, the siding's done, the windows have been replaced, the roof is done. I mentioned our floors. They're done. The furniture's all moved back. It's over. It's all but over. This year of home renovation for me is over. The only saving grace to all this is that my beloved basement down here was never affected too much, other than all the shit we had to put down here when we were doing the floors. But I am happy to announce it's done. It's over. I never want to do it again. I'm dreading the thought of having to do it again. Just like if that ever, like, I know it's not going to last forever, but I thought I was going to have to replace an air conditioner here last week. It's been so stinking hot out here. My air conditioner, it's an old air conditioner. It's like 20 years old. Just couldn't keep up. I mean, you'd set it in the morning at 70, and by 5 o'clock, it'd be like 73, 74-ish in the house. I mean, now that we've got some normal temperatures, just mid 80s, like it can handle it. Keeps it a nice 70 all day. But yeah, thought I was just adding one more thing to the list of things to do. Thankfully, that did not happen. Snack wraps. McDonald's brought the snack wraps back. My thoughts. These are my passing thoughts, so I'm going to give you my thoughts. I was both happy. It was what I remembered. And then at the same time, a little disappointed because they put a smaller piece of chicken in there. So my chicken to wrap ratio was too much wrap. Now, just get a smaller wrap in there and you can get around the smaller chicken. Also, they're like $3 a pop now. I think when they went away, they had gotten up to like $1.30. But when those things first came out, I want to say they were like 89 cents. It was like $1.06 with tax is what they'd whack you. And when those things came out, I was in high school, and I think either I just started driving or like some of my older friends had just started to drive. Those things were awesome. You'd go, they had the grilled or the crispy. Always go crispy. They had the honey mustard. They did away with the honey mustard. They have a spicy one now. I didn't really like the spicy sauce. Had some heat, but the taste really wasn't there. So, yeah, snack wraps are back. They're pretty solid, but not my favorite. Not my favorite, but they're about what you expected. They're about what you expected. Another thing is back. That'd be HBO Max has reverted its name. In what was at the time I thought one of the weirder rebrandings. They went from HBO Max just to Max. It's now back to HBO Max. So, you know, that whole 4 year stretch where they were just Max. Yeah, well worth it. Well worth it, people. Somebody was sitting in a boardroom and was like, oh, here's what we do. We are HBO. They had HBO Go, used to be their app. And then they're like, nope, now we're HBO Max. They made you get a new app when it went from HBO Go to HBO Max. And then when it went from HBO Max to Max, you had to get a new app. This time you at least get to keep the same app. Because, here's another thing. Because when I had to go to back to using my TV to watch Netflix and YouTube TV and things like that, I had an HBO Max app on there. I was like, I'll click this and it'll work. That was not the right app because they had switched their app from HBO Max to Max. But when they went back to HBO Max from Max, same app still. But I had the HBO Max app on my TV because when I last was using apps on the TV to watch things, that's what it was. Well, I had switched to using a Fire Stick for a while, and then I took my old Xbox and was using that to watch YouTube TV and Netflix and HBO and whatever else you're streaming. Well, we have like tornadoes and stuff rolling through Friday night. Power flickers. Like I said, I'm watching TV through my Xbox, my old Xbox. I'd gotten the newer one. I think the old one's the 1, the new one's the X or something like that. Power flickers, that goes out. Can't turn it back on. My old Xbox, the old Xbox One, shorted out, fried out by the electrical surge or something. I don't know. It was plugged into a surge protector, so a lot of good that thing did. Maybe in a couple days I'll try again and see if I can get the fire back up. But tried a lot of things and it wasn't working. Wasn't working at all. Tell you what I have been watching though is Tires. Finally got around to watching Tires. Good Lord. Great season so far. I think we're through like 9 episodes. May even knock out the rest of it here tonight. But what a great show. So funny. I liked the first season. I think the second season is superior. There are moments when I've been laughing uncontrollably. The HR episode, spoiler alert, if you don't want to hear anything for the next minute or so, I'm going to say a couple thing. the HR scenes are incredible. For those of you who are in kind of a corporate America thing, you know what those HR, seminars and training modules you have to do on the computer are like, and they're unbearable. Like, they're the dumbest shit ever. And just to see someone just completely eviscerating it, and then like having, Stavros be up there just like ripping it apart. Oh, so good. The Coke episode is funny. Shane's dad is great. Vince Vaughn just comes in from the rafters with an incredible cameo for an episode. That's in the trade show episode. And as a guy who's been to trade shows, and it's so funny. Like, it's funny. It's always funnier when they do things you have personal experience with and like you can relate to, and like the things they're making fun of, you're like, yeah, I know where they're going with that. It's just great. So really enjoying the second season of Tires. I'll just leave you with this. I was looking something up the other day. It might have been like a trivia question on the Daily Dozen that we got wrong. And it was there were two teams since 2000 in the NBA that had been to exactly two NBA's finals. And I think it was like the Pacers, and they gave you the Pacers, and they're like, what was the other team? I couldn't think of it. Roommate reads the answer. It's the Pistons. I'm like, man, I don't remember them going to a second NBA finals. They ended up going 7 games against the Spurs, which I did not remember at all. I also did not remember the Pistons went to 6 straight NBA Eastern Conference Finals. 6 straight Eastern Conference Finals. Absolutely incredible. So I'll leave you with that. Let's just go right to closing time. So closing time, everybody. Just want to say thank you to everybody. Appreciate all the support. Appreciate all the watches, the listens. Thank you. Thanks to Jeff Slanovic for coming on. We will be back next week doing a recap of the British Open. Maybe we can get the whole crew together. We haven't had the whole crew together for that in a while, but we'll see what we can do. Come hell or high water, whether it's me alone, me with Jeff, me with Waiter, me with Jeff and Waiter, me with Jeff, Waiter, and Bucky, just anybody, we will be recapping the British Open next week. Don't forget about my guy MJ over at the Full Range Podcast. You can find that on Spotify and the Old Walls House YouTube channel. And don't forget about the merch shop. You get cool shirts like this. You can get Full Range Podcast gear, hats, sweatshirts, cups, everything. Go check it out. Link is in the show notes below. Till next time. Peace!